Alright, imagine this. You're a detective, standing in a dimly lit crime scene. Everything seems clean, no obvious clues left behind. But then, boom, you find a fingerprint. A single, swirling pattern that can identify one person out of billions. Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But here's the real question. Why do humans even have fingerprints? Wouldn't it be easier if our fingers were just smooth? Why are fingerprints different for everyone, even identical twins? And what if fingerprints serve a deeper purpose than just helping law enforcement? Today, we're diving into the science, evolution, and mystery of fingerprints, what they do, why we have them, and whether we could have evolved without them. Let's get started. Let's start with the basics. Your fingerprints are made up of ridges and valleys on the skin of your fingers. These patterns form while you're still in the womb, around the 10th week of pregnancy. And once they're set, that's it. They never change for the rest of your life. Even if you burn your fingers or cut them, your fingerprints grow back in exactly the same pattern. That's because their formation isn't just skin deep, it's controlled by genetics and developmental processes beneath the skin. And here's the crazy part, your entire body has ridge patterns. Your toes, palms, and even the soles of your feet have similar ridges. But why? What are they actually for? One of the biggest reasons scientists believe we have fingerprints is grip enhancement. Imagine trying to pick up a smooth glass with completely flat fingers. It would be slippery, right? Fingerprints create tiny friction points that help us grip objects more securely. They work kind of like the treads on a car tire, giving us more control, especially in wet conditions. But it's not just about holding on to things. Fingerprints also increase our sense of touch. The ridges act as tiny amplifiers, helping our nerve endings detect textures way better than if our fingers were completely smooth. That's why you can feel tiny bumps or rough surfaces so easily. Why are fingerprints unique? Okay, so we know fingerprints are useful. But why are they different for every single person? It turns out, your fingerprints are a mix of genetics and randomness. Your genes give you a general pattern type, like loops, whorls, or arches. But the tiny details? That's completely random. Even identical twins, who share the exact same DNA, have different fingerprints. That's because the formation of the ridges is affected by tiny differences in pressure, movement, and environment inside the womb. Basically, no two people, past, present, or future, will ever have exactly the same fingerprints. The evolution of fingerprints. Are we the only ones? Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Humans aren't the only creatures with fingerprints. Did you know koalas have fingerprints that are almost identical to humans? If you left a koala print at a crime scene, even forensic scientists would have trouble telling it apart from a human's. Other primates like chimpanzees and gorillas also have fingerprint-like ridges. But even some non-primates, like certain tree-climbing frogs, have similar grip-enhancing textures on their feet. This suggests that fingerprints evolved as a survival advantage, helping animals grip trees, rocks, and food more effectively. Could humans have evolved without fingerprints? Now, let's imagine an alternate reality. What if humans never developed fingerprints at all? For one, we'd probably have less dexterity. Handling tools, writing, and even holding on to slippery objects might be harder. Our sense of touch would also be less sensitive, making it tougher to detect tiny textures. Would evolution have given us another solution? Maybe we'd have developed sticky skin, like geckos, or extra grip through microscopic hairs like certain insects. But in our world, fingerprints were the winning evolutionary strategy, one that has stuck with us for millions of years. Fingerprints in forensics and modern technology. Of course, fingerprints aren't just useful for grip and touch, they've become a key part of criminal investigations. Forensic scientists have been using fingerprint identification for over 100 years. It's still one of the most reliable ways to link someone to a crime scene. But fingerprints aren't just for crime solving anymore, they're used in smartphone security, biometric scanning, and even banking. In fact, some researchers are developing advanced AI that can analyze fingerprint patterns to predict health risks. Could your fingerprint one day reveal early signs of diseases like diabetes or Parkinson's? Some studies suggest it might be possible. Let's go over some mind-blowing facts about fingerprints. Some people are born without fingerprints. A rare condition called dermatoglyphia causes individuals to have completely smooth fingertips. It's sometimes called immigration delay disease because these people struggle to get past biometric security checks. Your fingerprints may change slightly with age. While the overall pattern stays the same, skin elasticity and wear can make ridges slightly less defined over time. Some animals have fake fingerprints. Certain beetles evolved ridge textures that mimic ant footprints, allowing them to sneak into ant colonies undetected. Your fingerprints could one day be used for personalized medicine. Since ridges are linked to nerve endings, researchers believe fingerprint analysis might help diagnose neurological conditions in the future. Before we wrap things up, let's dive into a few more fascinating aspects of fingerprints, things that might surprise you. Can fingerprints be erased? You might have heard stories about criminals trying to burn off their fingerprints to avoid detection. But here's the catch: it doesn't work. Since fingerprints are formed deep within the skin, they grow back exactly the same, even after injuries or burns. Some criminals have gone to extreme lengths, even trying to sandpaper their fingertips or use acid, but most of the time, this only makes their prints more distinctive due to scarring. However, there are rare cases where people who handle certain chemicals, like lime or cement, can slowly wear down their ridges over time. That's why some bricklayers or chemical workers may have less defined fingerprints as they age. Fingerprints and evolution, could they change in the future? Human evolution is always ongoing, so could our fingerprints change or disappear over thousands of years? Right now, we depend on fingerprints for grip and sensory perception, but if our environment changes, let's say humans evolve to live in low-gravity or underwater environments, our need for fingerprints could decrease. Scientists have even theorized that if humans develop artificial skin or bionic enhancements, fingerprints could become obsolete, replaced by new forms of bioidentification. But for now, our ridges are here to stay. Final thoughts. So, why do we have fingerprints? The answer is a mix of evolution, biology, and functionality. They help us grip objects, sense textures, and of course, they're unique to every single person. Without them, life would be a lot less tactile, and solving crimes would be much harder. Fingerprints are one of nature's most fascinating adaptations, and even though they seem small, they play a huge role in how we interact with the world around us. Who knows? Maybe in the future, we'll discover even more secrets hidden in these tiny patterns on our fingertips. Until then, take a second to look at your own fingerprints, and appreciate the fact that no one else in history has ever had the exact same ones. And hey, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more mind-blowing topics like this one. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll be making a video on what your fingerprints say about your health. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.